Mascot Howard. The Howard genre that is apparently dying, and that's what we'll be looking in today's video. Is there any hope for Mascot Howard? To do this, we need to look at all of the individual Mascot Howard games that I can find, and see if there'll be an improve of quality, or if it's a one-way ticket to nothing. The first thing we'll be looking at is Ban Ban. So if you've been living under a rock, Garden of Bam Bam is the sole flame of Mascot Howard hate. And rightfully so, in my opinion. They've literally made 7 games, literally copying and pasting the same game, just with new characters, and it's the same objective each time. Try and find your child, but in the end, you just go deep into the facility and you never find your child. And they're going to keep milking this until Ban Ban 68, and then we get a glimpse of the child, and then we have to wait another 20 games to see it. In my opinion, this is going nowhere, but that's not it. Another thing I have hate for is the characters. Now, I like new characters in a lot of games, and I do think with all the content of characters we're getting, not all of them can be perfect, and I really appreciate that about Mascot Howard games. But these characters are terrible, and they're so lazy. Like, I was talking with my brother, who is a Ban Ban obsessive, I know, and he's just talking about this Nab Nab guy, which is literally Ban Ban, but backwards. And then, of course, there's Banbalina, so there's a Nabnalina. So they literally copy and pasted the same name, put it in reverse, and made 2 characters from it. Like, really, the only time I see someone enjoying this is a 5-year-old who just got introduced to Howard. I remember I used to kind of like it. I know, but I have my reasons. When I was younger, I saw a fan-made animation, which I thought was the actual one, and I was obsessed with it. But looking back, it's just a fan-made animation, and it's not too good quality, but back then it was amazing. So the fact that, in my opinion, a fan-made video is better than the actual game, that kind of tells you something. So yeah, I know I've been ranting a lot about Ban Ban, but yeah, this is going nowhere in my opinion. Also, before I end up Ban Ban, there is no indicators of scariness. Now, I know Five Nights at Freddy's security breach got a lot of banter for not being scary, but at least there was a few tense moments. Ban Ban, I don't think I've ever screamed, literally from the one game I played. I don't care about the others. Poppy Playtime. So, of course, everyone knows about Poppy Playtime. Now, even though it's apparently a kids' Howard game, it has taken a darker turn in the most recent games, with the first one being a silly 30-minute Howard puzzle game, to the third one being an absolute nightmare. But I'm not saying that in a bad way. I actually believe that Poppy Playtime is one of the scariest horror games, with definitely some of the best jump scares. Now, I know the first 1 or 2 weren't that good, but I think that where it's going is great. With their new character, Yarnaby, coming in the 4th chapter, and slowly revealing the prototype, this game has it all. But there is one thing I am complaining about, and it's just predictable. That's my problem. Every game, we get introduced to a new monster dingy, right? But then at the end of the game, it gets killed or slaughtered or whatever. And then next game, it's rinse and repeat. We get introduced to a new character, they die. They've been doing this for 3 games now, and I hope they don't do it with the 4th. I am in love with the character designs, and I do think Yarnaby looks really terrifying and cool. As long as they don't keep repeating you meeting the monster and then they die later on in the game, then they should be going up, up, and up. I do think it's kind of annoying how people saying it's meant for 6-year-olds, with each chapter getting darker. I do think this is to prove a point that they're trying to make it for a larger range of audience, but that's up for them to decide. But I do think this can go really well, and I do think it would end in a couple of chapters, but I think this would be remembered as one of the best horror game franchises, if it isn't already. FNAF. FNAF, also known as Five Nights at Freddy's, you've probably seen a lot of on my channel, with it by far having the most stuff in this horror game series. from about 15 games maybe or more, they keep releasing content at least probably like 2 times a year. With them releasing games, books, and movies, this is going to keep going. And not in a bad way, because unlike Ban, it's original. Literally every game is different. Like how have we gone from a click and play to a VR experience to a whole bright pizzaplex? Like that's just so creative. And then we did the Into the Pit game, and they just keep switching timelines, but I think it's really good. And of course I got people dusting for love, which keeps the game alive for more, even more. Now they can keep going forever and ever, going back in the past and going more in the future. It will just stay alive forever with new animatronics. And as you can see, the latest installment is a 2040 based one, and the next one coming is now going to be a 1970s one, I think, with Secrets of the Mimic. So that just shows how flexible the franchise is. Because if Poppy Playtime or Ban tried to do this, they'd get bantered hard, I would say. And it's quite easy to say they're going to be alive for a very, very long time. But still remains the question, where's Mascot Horror going now? Let's talk about another Mascot Horror game. And this one's called Amanda the Adventurer. Now, a lot of you probably know about it, where it's just a little girl and its pet or friend, Wooly, who Amanda likes to bully a lot, even though they're quote-unquote friends. But the more you watch it, the more she teaches you to do bad stuff, and the more creepy it gets, basically. And there's gameplay with it too, so it's also another puzzle horror game. And it's gotten really popular, even with the second one being in the latest installment. But did you know there's actually another The Amanda the Adventurer, which I like way more? Now, a lot of you may know this, but the first Amanda the Adventurer was made in a week. Now, I'm not talking about the one that's released on Nintendo and all the consoles, but with just a 3-episode thing. And man, this gave me nightmares when I was like 6, 7. Like, I was so scared. I would stay up at like 3 a.m. because I just couldn't sleep. This thing scared me, even though there was only like 3 episodes. This one, however, didn't have as much gameplay and was really short. And even though it was made within a week, they updated it, which made it even better and made it have more gameplay, even though not as much as the most recent 2 games. But in my opinion, even though it's shorter, and you can tell less time was put into it, I think it's 100% scarier in my opinion. And I do think it would be better for them to continue this installment other than restarting it and making it improved quality, because that kind of ruins the classic horror feel, I think. And I think the lore behind it was really good, especially with just the stuff all around. I can definitely see a second one of gameplay around it. Like, there's just the amount of opportunities you can make with that one. I think it's just way better than the other 2, even though I really like the other 2, but I think this one's just 100% scarier, and I just love it so much. Especially with the quality being really bad, I think that actually adds on to the horror feel. And a lot of the stuff taken from that one was actually put in the second one, if you notice, with the pirate war and stuff. And yeah, and you can obviously see the differences between that one and the second one in the improved quality, but I don't think the other ones come close to how scary this one was. I'm not going to lie, I think Amanda the Adventurer is one of the best horror installments, but I do think they missed so much opportunities with leaving that first one behind and restarting with the other ones. But I do think this can still go somewhere, even though I think it would have been way better for them to continue the other one. I do think this can still work out really well, and I do see a lot of people playing this, even though a lot of people already are. Now, going through all those reviews, there was only one that I didn't like, and that was, of course, Ban. So this is the point of the video you've been waiting for. Is it going to go somewhere, or is it just a trend that's going to die in a couple of years? No, I definitely think it's going to go somewhere. Now, I know with stuff like Ban, that's definitely going to die in a couple of years. I mean, unless we're going to keep giving them money. But no, with Poppy Playtime, Amanda the Adventurer, Five Nights at Freddy's, all of those, I think they're just going to keep going. And except for Poppy Playtime, which is probably going to end in a couple of years, with the chapter 5 probably being the finale. But I think they can just keep going and keep pushing, and it's just going to be great. And I do think Mascot Tower is the next big thing, even though it's already very, very popular. And I do think all the bad stuff will die down, and I think only the good will remain, and that's perfectly fine, considering that's what we want. I know there's a lot of Mascot Horror games I've missed, but those were, the ones I mentioned were my favorite. Well, a lot of them were, and probably was the most popular. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Please subscribe. Bye.